Hey everyone, welcome back. So I've been checking on things in the garden today, and I think we might have a cabbage ready, which makes me very excited because that means we can make a Bierock casserole. Let's go check it out and see if one's ready. All right, so we're coming up on the cabbage here, and yep, sure enough, look, there's a nice big head that's ready and available for us to pick. Now you'll see I've got a nice bird's net over my cabbage plants. This helps to keep all the animals and critters out of the cabbages, but it also helps to detract and deter from the moths that leave the caterpillars that get inside of the cabbages. So let's go ahead and pick this guy. So as you can see, I've washed and trimmed the exterior leaves from my freshly picked cabbage. And now I'm going to go ahead and process this so that I have it in more of a shredded form. And then also I need to remove the core out of the center. So to remove the core out of the center, I'm simply going to go ahead and cut the cabbage in half lengthwise. And that'll reveal the nice two halves for me. And then I'm going to lay them flat onto my cutting surface and cut them in half again. What this is going to give is it's going to give a nice wedge, and it's going to go ahead and reveal that core part that we don't want to eat. And then all I need to do at this point is cut at an angle to get that core out. And of course, I've got my bowl here for any of my scraps because these are treats that my chickens would love to enjoy. All right, now we're ready to go ahead and cut this. And you're going to cut it, you'll see the grain on the cabbage. You're going to go ahead and cut it with that grain so that way you get nice shredded pieces once you're done giving that its slice. Now, if this is too long, you can go ahead and cut it in half, which is what I'm going to do. And then once I've cut it in half, then I'll start cutting it in the lengthwise strips to get my nice shredded pieces. Okay, and you'll just keep going until it's done for the entire cabbage. Yum, look at all that fresh, beautiful cabbage. Once you've prepped your cabbage, you can go ahead and head on over to your stovetop. You're going to want to get a pretty large saute pan to be able to hold all the ingredients that you'll need for today's recipe. And the first thing that you're going to want to do is go ahead and add your 2 pounds of ground beef to that saute pan. And you're going to go ahead and brown that ground beef. I'm just going to go ahead and break this ground beef up. Now, my ground beef might look a little different than yours. You'll notice it was packaged differently than what you would buy in the store. Today, we are saying thank you to Ferdinand for this wonderful meal that we're going to be enjoying. And my ground beef also may be a little bit leaner than yours. So if at the end of browning your ground beef, you find that you have a lot of oil and grease that has separated from the meat, then you'll want to go ahead and drain that off. Otherwise, if you just have a little bit, you can go ahead and keep it on in once it's browned. Okay, so our ground beef is looking good and browned. So now we're going to add to this our 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. I like garlic, so I'm going to make mine heaping. We're going to add our 2 pouches of onion soup mix. Give it a quick stir. Let those seasonings really start to come out with the heat. Next, we're going to add half a cup of chicken broth. And again, we make our own chicken broth, so mine's going to look a little different than yours. Give it a quick stir. And next, you're going to start to add in your cabbage. Now, depending on the size of your pan, your cabbage may fill the pan, and you still may have cabbage left to add. And that's okay. The cabbage will wilt quickly, so just keep adding the cabbage as you notice that you have space. Mix it around just a bit. You're going to cover this and let it simmer, stirring it occasionally for about 10 minutes. Now, this is my largest saute pan that I have, and it does not come with a lid. So I found these really cool silicone lids that you can use to put over Tupperware or pans. It creates a nice seal. And so we're going to place that on there and let it go for about 10 minutes. Make sure that your heat at this point is only between low to medium. You don't want to burn anything that's in there. So keep it between low and medium just so that you are getting a nice simmer. And again, you're going to let this go for 10 minutes, stirring it occasionally until everything's wilted down and mixed in. Now, while the cabbage is simmering down in the cabbage and ground beef mixture, I'm going to go ahead and prepare my 13x9 casserole dish. So I have coated it with a cooking spray. You could use butter if you prefer. And then I am going to open up 1 pack of crescent rolls. These are just your standard crescent rolls. You can use original. These are butter flake, whatever you prefer. And you'll just remove your crescent rolls from the package. Find where the seam is and open it up. And then you're just going to open it up right into the bottom of your baking dish. Okay. Now you do want to take some time here. Try to press some of these seams together. Make sure that it's rolled out evenly. If you didn't want to use crescent rolls for this part of the process, you could use a pre-made double pie crust. If you'd like a really great recipe for a double pie crust, please look down in my channel feed. I have one there. I'm just showing you simply a quick and easy way to make this recipe. And so you'd use the single crust on the bottom, and then you'll top it with the other part of the crust. Our really full pan has been simmering for a good 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and take a peek and see how it's doing in here. Oh, beautiful. So you'll see all the cabbage is all wilted down. Everything looks good. It smells so good. All right, we're ready to add this to our prepared baking dish. Okay, to build the casserole, it's simply going to be a layered approach. You're going to scoop about 1/3 of your ground beef and cabbage mixture directly onto the rolled out crescent rolls. Spread it around. And then to this, you'll add about a third of each of the cheeses. Now, the recipe calls for both mozzarella cheese and cheddar cheese. If you don't have that exact cheese combination, it's okay. Use what you have. So today, I actually don't have that exact cheese combination. I do have mozzarella, so I'm going to put that on. But instead of directly having just cheddar, I have a Fiesta blend of cheese. So I have a mix between cheddar and jack cheese. So I'm just going to use that. Not a big deal. And I'll add about a third of that here. And you're going to repeat this process until your entire beef and cabbage mixture is utilized. Now, once you've layered your meat, cheese, meat, cheese, meat, cheese, you're ready to go ahead and top your casserole with the last package of crescent rolls. Carefully unroll them. Place them right on top. You can give it a little stretch and a spread. Up on the top, it's okay if we have these open spaces. This will allow the steam to escape and the rolls to puff up nice and flaky and crispy. You're now ready to put this into the oven. It's going to go into a preheated oven at 350 degrees for 35 minutes. So it smells just absolutely incredible in the house right now from this casserole. And so I can't wait to dig in and taste how this turned out and show you guys what it looks like. You can see the crescent rolls on top finished with a nice golden brown. I let this bake for 35 minutes. I pulled it out of the oven. I've let it sit and cool for a good 20 minutes so that it's not so piping hot when I go in and try to taste it. But you know, this is a pretty easy to make recipe. It's one of those things where you can just get the prepackaged ingredients if you want and really just kind of throw them all together and you have a meal to feed a large crowd. It's also something you can use as a side. It is called a Bierock casserole because it is a play on Bierocks, which are literally like a meat hand pie, empanada, depending on what culture you're familiar with. And, you know, I learned this recipe when I was in college. We had a really fantastic place where I went to college that made Bierocks, and they would make them first thing in the morning. You could go and you could get them. They had them until they sold out. And they were just absolutely delicious. But to make them at home on your own, can be time consuming. So this is a quick way to get similar flavors with not all of the fuss related to making a Bierock. So there you go. There's what it looks like on the inside. You can see both the bottom and top crust hold up really well. And you've got all your ingredients. The cheese inside has melted and combined with everything. So we're going to go ahead and give this a taste. Mm. I have to go in here for a second bite. It's so delicious. Mm. You know, the other thing that I really love about this recipe is it uses a lot of cabbage. And so a whole head of cabbage is a lot of nutritional value for you and for your family. So if you ever have leftover cabbage, let's say you're doing a St. Patrick's Day feast,
and you haven't used all the cabbage that you have extra, it goes on sale at the grocery store, supermarket, you've got it coming out of your garden, you've got a cabbage patch, and you've got it all coming ready at one time. This is a great way to be able to put all that cabbage to use and still maintain some of the nutritional value out of it. So I hope you choose to make this recipe. If you liked this video, go ahead and click like, subscribe to my channel for more recipes. Until next time, bye everyone.